Hi Aquarius, so welcome to your June 2017 love reading. It's Raina here. So before I begin, I just wanted to announce that I'm going to be doing separate love readings for singles due to getting some comments about that, and this will allow me to focus on relationship issues. But you know, I just did a reading and it actually seemed like, you know, if somebody were single, they would enjoy watching that one. So you might get some info with this one that you appreciate. So it's up to you, but I just wanted to let those people know that are single and looking that I will have a separate reading that is dedicated just to people who are single. And in the next couple of months, I'm also going to be doing an on-demand series of videos that are based on spiritual advice for people looking for love. So that might be kind of interesting. I will announce that when that happens. And yeah, so this is a modified Celtic cross spread, and I will begin. Oops, this should be, well, you know, it's funny. Usually I go like this. This is the second one, but because I just felt like putting it here, I'm going to do it here, even though that's not the typical pattern that I do it. Wow, that's a major arcana card. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, so first off, Aquarius, I really think that in terms of at least your love life, if not your general life in June, that this is like a real game changer maybe. And you might want to be prepared if you're watching this ahead of time that this could be a very important month for you. For most of the month, you're going to have, oh, you know, it's funny, yeah. Gemini is your 5th house. And for most of the month in June, you're going to have the sun there and some other energy there. So, and even at the end of May, you have a new moon in the 5th house. So there could be some, you know, especially if you're in a new relationship, that could be happening. But let's look at the cards from the beginning and see what story I can tell with these cards. The overall emphasis or the focus, or maybe the dilemma, is related to the High Priestess. This can be about secrets that become revealed. This can be about going within or trusting your intuition. And perhaps this is about a particular person. Perhaps you feel a sense of even torment, you know, with somebody that you can just tell is not telling you the truth. Aquarius is a very psychic sign. You know, a lot of times I talk about the water signs, but Aquarius is also known for that. And it may be that you have certain flashes of insight, and it is connected to that higher self, kind of nudging you and telling you, uh-oh, this is happening. Watch out for this. Now, if we look at the challenge card, we have the King of Swords. This could be the person who is creating this doubt in you. This could be a partner that you have. The King of Swords can be a boss. It can be a Gemini, fellow Aquarius, Libra individual. And this person, maybe as a challenge position, it may be like the reversed King of Swords. This person can be cruel. this person can be verbally abusive. And what's worse about it is that they don't care. They are like cut off from their feelings. So if you have found yourself in a marriage, the equivalent, any kind of relationship with somebody who is treating you in this manner, it can be very injurious because, as you probably know, depending on who you were when you went into such a relationship, if you did not have high self-esteem, you might believe what somebody tells you. It's very easy when you're kind of vulnerable that way, that you might believe the bad things about you, and then what happens is it's like a vicious circle. It just makes it worse because it's hard to get out of. It's like being beaten down on a verbal level. And another thing about this type of person is they could be a master of manipulation, mind games, where they can get you to feel like you are the problem, okay? And one way that people do this is by accusing you of things maybe that they're doing, but also accusing you in general and keeping you always trying to defend yourself so that you are really in a negative vibration. That sounds very hippy-dippy, but that's really true because that's what an energy vampire does. They do all these negative things and whip you into a frenzy, and then you're like left trying to prove that you're not what they say you are, and in the meantime, they have no intention. There's no way that you're going to convince them of anything because that's not the game. The game is to get you to be constantly defensive. At the root of this is the Nine of Swords. I would say rather than the root, even though this is like the root cause, well, you know what? Yeah, this works because this is exactly what I was saying. You may, if you're with somebody or recently have been with somebody who is, and this person could be an air sign again, or have that prominent in their chart, a very verbal, analytical person. If you have been with such a person, the very fact that you entered into such a relationship speaks to this kind of negative mindset that you had even before you were there in that relationship. So in other words, we can focus on this person as the bad guy, but there's a deeper thing going on, and it has to do with how you feel about yourself, what you think about life, and you may have already had a lot of anxiety, and sometimes anxiety leads people to get involved in relationships because they don't want to be alone. In the recent past, we have the Justice card. So this could be a Libra, you know, if you're going to talk about swords, or the person that you may be with. And don't get it twisted. You know, people think Librans are sweetness and light, but every sign has a shadow aspect, and there are people of every sign that can be controlling, play mind games, and all that stuff. And Libra is no exception. And what makes the air signs particularly dangerous is because as air signs, they have, and I'd say even you have, the ability to really use your communication as a weapon when you want to. And you know, you're born with high intelligence, and that can be a weapon in the wrong hands. So people, you know, air signs can analyze other people's natures and know exactly what is their weak spots and how to get to them. And I'm talking about only in the shadow aspect, but still. The other thing that the Justice card could be representing is a legal decision or a court case. And of course, in this type of a scenario, this would be a divorce, maybe occasionally a child custody battle. And so this other person is really vindictive, maybe, and they don't want you to triumph. But I think that you are going to, because you have this card here as the higher message, is the Temperance card. And I always thought that this should be associated with Libra, because Temperance is balance, right? And you have a foot in the water, a foot on earth. And you know, there you go with the Aquarius imagery with that pouring the water bear or whatever it is. Isn't that the same as with the Star card? I don't know. I mean, in terms of how they're pouring the water. But anyway, that idea of the spiritual and the physical is a balance that in this particular scenario, if you are in any kind of negative situation, either trying to get out of a relationship that is abusive, psychologically abusive, or in the process of getting divorced, always have that part of you that is looking at things from a spiritual perspective, because that is one of the dangers of legal matters, is that people get so hooked into winning and proving that the other person is wrong that they fail to see that this is all, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So we always have to honor the higher part of ourselves and never lower ourselves. So having the balance between, if you have to testify against somebody who is, whatever they were doing, is that you're not trying to destroy the person, you're just trying to state the truth. And the Temperance card is connected to Sagittarius. So it is about the truth. Sagittarius represents honesty and the truth coming out too. And it is above the High Priestess, so the truth can come out at some point, And maybe you don't even have to do anything. Maybe it's just going to work out that way. What's coming in the near future, I love this card, is the Fool card. And I think this is connected to Uranus, which is your ruler, along with Saturn. And this is about a whole new adventure in your life. Because you have a lot of major arcana cards, it could be a real turning point in your life and a new beginning. This is an absolutely new beginning. And you're going into this with fresh eyes. And you're kind of looking at it from that adventurous perspective, not trying to see things, not trying to drag your baggage with you, but really wanting to start over and wanting to be like a child, freewheeling and open to whatever comes your way. It's all about the journey, not the destination. And also free to be yourself. Maybe it's like getting released from bondage, This is depicting a person with their hands tied, like they can't do anything. And now you can feel that freedom. Psychologically, you are as the Chariot, which is about, you see he's holding on to the reins of the horse. It's like you feel that sense of empowerment, the kingly feeling. And you feel a sense of control over your life. It may have been a challenge to get there, but you feel like finally you have made it. And this card is connected to Cancer. So perhaps around the new moon in Cancer, you will begin to feel a lot more like you are in control of your life. Oh, I like how that light flooded in all of a sudden. It really is nice. The influence around you is represented by the Nine of Wands. And so this can be fire sign energy. That's Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. Again, with the Temperance card, we're seeing Sagittarius. Perhaps there's a Sagittarian who is figuring into your life in some way. Maybe somebody who's helping you. The Nine of Wands represents defenses being up, but perhaps somebody is protecting you who is a Sagittarius or who is a fire sign. Maybe they are, like, let's say you have to leave your home. Maybe they are taking you in. Maybe it's a friend who is like very, very protective of you. I could see a Leo person being like that. And you feel like other people have your back. Let's put it that way. The advice, or what is coming in the future, is the Emperor card. Is represented by the Emperor card. Again, this could be with legal decisions. This could be a judge, somebody who has to render a decision. The other thing this relates to is Aries, so that's a fire sign. And even this card I associate with kind of that warrior energy too. This could be somebody who is in law enforcement, in the military, but could be somebody the sign of Aries, not necessarily the sun sign, but you would know because they're very much independent and forceful and confident, maybe even cocky. And so that could be a continuation of this card. It's a relationship with somebody like that. But it's really this, it could be, I guess it could be a facet of yourself where you feel this sense of order in your life, control. The number 4 is the Emperor, and it could be simply feeling, just like the Chariot card, it could be feeling in control of your life when before you felt out of control and therefore anxious. The outcome is the Moon card. It's so funny that I started with the High Priestess and ended with the Moon. These are cards that deal with intuition, secrets coming out. This could be a timing thing. As I said, with the new moon in Cancer being at the end of the month, that could be a time. But also there's a full moon in Sagittarius, and we've gotten these cards connected to Sagittarius. At least one. So perhaps that's featured for some reason. That the full moon in Sagittarius is a time when things start to be exposed. And that may help you if you're looking to leave a relationship. Because, as I said before, a person, if you're involved with somebody who is manipulating you in some way, they may manipulate you with lies, with half-truths, and make you feel like you're crazy, convince you that you're crazy. And so, because of this, you may have this sense that you don't know what's true, what's false. The Moon card also, I would say, is a card to make sure that in the future that you do trust your gut, like the High Priestess. You use your intuition. That you do not lie to yourself. You see things as they really are. It's interesting because the Moon connects to Pisces. That card connects to Pisces, and that's something that somebody with Pisces would do. Now, some of you may have Pisces personal planets because it's right next to Aquarius. And so you may have certain tendencies in this area yourself. Maybe you have Mercury in Pisces with the Sun in Aquarius. And, you know, whatever the case, but, you know, I was going to say, yeah, you might have that. But Aquarius is very interesting because you can rationalize things away. And you are very detached. So things, you're not necessarily motivated by your feelings the way some people are. And this can lead to kind of like these abstractions of thought where you're looking at something from an intellectual point of view, not really seeing it for what it is, and therefore not really in touch with the ramifications of what is happening. You know, if that makes any sense. So, in other words, you underplay what might be happening because you're not like in touch with your feelings necessarily. And I know that's a generalization. I know that some of you may be very emotional. I have had people say that. I am generalizing because that is the archetype of Aquarius. So yeah, it's very interesting. I think it's going to be noteworthy for you. So I hope you enjoyed this, Aquarius. If you would like to look at this more in depth with a private reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have an awesome June. Bye.